My dear learners, including age group 6 years to the age group of grandfathers, age is just a number. Today we will be discussing about the data types in Python. So let us start. In the previous video, we did some mathematical calculation with numbers, printed some text in the output as it is. So guys, this is all data, and data type is the type of the data. So guys, let us see the various data types in Python. The data types are broadly classified as primitive and non-primitive data types. Primitive data types or basic data types, they are the building blocks for the non-primitive data types. In this video, we'll only be discussing about the primitive data types. So the primitive data types are divided as numbers, none, and string data types. Now numbers are further divided into integers, float, boolean, and complex numbers. So guys, integers are any positive or negative numbers without numbers after the decimal point, like 1, 2, 3, 4, minus 1, minus 2, etc. And floating point numbers are numbers any negative or positive number with digits after the decimal point. So guys, now comes the boolean data type. The boolean data type holds only two possible values, that is true or false. True can be written like this and false can be written like this. Now you must be wondering guys that why I've kept this true false value data type in numbers. The thing is that true represents 1 and false represents 0 in Python for boolean data type. Okay, and now I'll do one thing guys, please observe carefully. Now I'll write this T also in lowercase letters and try to run it. You see, I encounter an error. Now again I'll do one thing. I'm going to see what happens. Oh, again an error. And if I do one more thing, if I write that this, then also I encounter an error. But when I wrote this, I do not encounter an error. So now why does this happen guys? Python is a case sensitive language, that is, it treats this true and this true and this true and this true, or in any other way you write, it treats them differently. Because if you change the letters from lowercase to uppercase, then Python treats them differently. It will treat this true, this true, this true, and this true differently. And Python only recognizes this highlighted one as the boolean data type. The others are nothing. They are not a data type. They are no data. Okay, so if you will write them in any other way, like other than the way I'm showing you in the screen, the highlighted one, you will encounter an error. Complex numbers. So guys, complex numbers are numbers in the form a plus bj. Okay, this is the expression, mathematical expression, that is, they are an example can be 34 plus 78j. Okay, you just need to remember that they are in the form a plus bj, and you can write them in any way. This is a complex number, you can write any way. Okay guys, you don't need to worry too much about them, just know that they are written in a plus bj form. So guys, none data type. None data type holds the value none, N-O-N-E, and it is written like this. Now I told you Python is a case sensitive language, so you cannot write none in any other way. Now some people confuse none as that it is equal to 0 or it is equal to false, but guys, I'm telling you, none is a unique data type. It is neither equal to 0 nor equal to false. Strings. So guys, string data types just contains plain text like alphabets, and they can also be numbers, symbols. How to write a string? Now there's a particular way of writing a string. Anything that you write inside the double quotes or inside the single quotes will become a string. Like if I write Python is very easy. Now this is a string. If I write in number or any mathematical expression operation inside these codes, then it will not be treated as numbers, it will be treated as a string, and you will be able to perform only the string operations, okay, on this string. Now you can write any symbol also. I told you, like this hash or any symbol, anything that you write inside these single quotes or double quotes is treated as a string. So guys, let us see how we can check the data type of any data in Python. So guys, we'll be using the type function. As we use the print function to print some statements, okay, we'll be using the type function to determine the type of the data. So how do you do that? You write type and then you put the parenthesis, and inside the parenthesis you just copy paste the data. Like if I write Python is an easy language, okay, and then if you run it, what do you get? str. Now str stands for string. Similarly, I can do it for an integer, like type, and then inside the parenthesis you write like 123 and I get int, that is integer. Now if I write 123, I'm showing an interesting thing. Now if I write 123.0, now let us see what happens. Float, the output comes as float, so Python is treating it as a float. I told you that a float is any positive or negative value with digits after the decimal point, and here we know that 123.0 is 123, but Python will treat 123.0 as a float because it has 0 after the decimal point. And also you can copy paste or say write this type function inside the print function. Let us see how. Now what I'll do is first I'll write print, then I put the parenthesis, and you know whatever we want to print in the output, we just write it inside the parenthesis. Now I will copy paste this, okay, inside the print function, and then I run it and I get class string, that is string, okay. And you can do it for multiple things, like multiple lines you can write and you'll get the output. That is what we learned. That is the application of the print function, guys, okay. Similarly, you can check it for other data types, like if you write true, now this true is of bool, you know, so class bool, it comes out to be class bool. Bool stands for boolean, and now I write none, okay. Now yes, okay, so it comes none type. Now guys, I want to tell you one thing also, that is if you write this none, true or false inside the single quotes or double quotes, it will be treated as a string. I've told you, like if you write it none, okay, I'm checking the type, I'm showing you. Now if I run it, it comes out to be a string. If you are using this, it will come out to be a string like this. I write true, it comes out to be a string. So you have to remember, if you are using the boolean data type or the none data type, you don't need to write it inside the single quotes or the double quotes, because that will be treated as a string. Also guys, space is also a string or tag. Like if I write type and then just write single quotes and you press space and then you run it, you get string. Even a blank, this is a blank string you can say, but it is not blank, it has the space caret. Now guys, what you should do in your exercise for this data types is that you try to add different data types. That is, like we used Python as a calculator in a previous video. We added integers and floats, integers and integers, but we didn't add an integer and a string. Okay, try to do this. Like I'm doing 12 plus, I write Python, and then if I run it, I'm getting a type error. That is, you can't add Python and 12. Just imagine, can you add 12 and Python? No, you cannot add. That is why it's coming type error. You can't add a string and an integer or a float. You should do this, and you should also try to add string and a string, try to add a boolean and an integer. Now this all is for your exercise. You have to try out multiple things, and this will develop your knowledge about data types in Python. Some new concepts also you'll discover, and we'll be talking about them in our later videos. Also guys, try to check the various data types using type function. Like I have written 12 plus Python. You try to check its type. Like this, if I do, now if I run it, I'm getting an error, a type error again. But when you will encounter errors, then only you are gonna learn. So don't forget to tell me in the comment section what new things you learned, what errors you encountered. Pura India Padega Data Science. Ready for my next video? So goodbye and namaskar. Please like, share, comment and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to press the bell icon.